Sergio Studios. Extra.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Sergio Dominguez with another art look through. This time through my Art of Sergio Studios cartoons. Ultimately cartoons that aren't the Sergio show, maybe Sergio show related, since any animated work that I do takes place in the Sergio Studios universe. But in this case, we're going to look at other cartoons that aren't the Sergio show ultimately. Most of it. But we'll get to it when we get to it. But I just want to show you what I have in this binder for the most part. So, let's begin. Sergio Studios! Yeah, I like just the white background, but I made one where it's the title's faded, but there's like different drawings of Sergio's in the back. Drew it in pencil, scanned it in, blue pencil, and designed it like that, and I like it. But we also have the original Sergio Studios title, logo. Even here, if you can see it from the channel you're watching it right now, Sergio Studios. Extra. Some of these are, this is like a poster. I did make like a poster of the Sergio show, and I had it hanged in my room. I think maybe in old update videos you can see it. But when I started changing things around, I was like, okay, let me keep this with me. A nice model sheet. I think this also existed in the art look through from the first 10 years of the Sergio show, first 15 seasons. I had different kinds of model sheets just so I can. And here's one where same thing, different Sergio faces. And this is actually a scan of my sketching, but yeah. Another mouth chart. Seen this already? Oh, these were comic strips that I've made for projects in school. Gotten good grades off of these. Storyboards for these were all like school projects, comic strip related. So. Now we're gonna get to this. Alright. Okay, one of the first cartoons that I've ever made that I was able to save in my computer, one of them is Cartoon Face. So I had the animation software Toon Boom, wanted to animate something, but I didn't know how to really use the hand-drawn tools at the time. So I had post-it notes. I did a little flipbook animation of the post-it notes. I scanned them into Toon Boom as image files, and it would play back. And that was the first cartoon that I could one of the first cartoons I've made. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the original post-it notes. So the next best thing I did was I took the original video, export in a sequence of like individual frames, and had a special image where it's a nice collage of it in order. Boom, 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 boom. If you look in order, it plays back like the original animation. So that's the closest thing I have to the original art files. Have them displayed like this. That same thing goes to Cartoon Character Meets Cartoon Character. Instead of post-it notes, I had regular computer paper. Cut them into squares. Did the same thing, but when I was done lining them up, I would do a keyframe animation over it. So it's one of my earliest attempts of combining two different forms of animation together. Both of them have the amount of frames that it took. Drawn 247 frames, 638. Here we go. Well, other than the Sergio show, one of my other animated series or characters that I've made sequels out of are the characters Hendrick and Mr. Puppety. Oh, these characters. Let's take a look. This is the section in the book where we're going to look at some of the artwork from the cartoon Hendrick and Mr. Puppety and the characters and the cartoons. So let's take a look. This is the first drawing of Hendrick and Mr. Puppety ever made. One of the first, if not. I created them in this paper, in this sketchbook paper, back in August 8th, 2008. And yeah, when I created them, I was in a it all started when I was in a summer vacation. Around that time, I was in a hotel room, and I just want to think of an idea for a new cartoon character. And I was thinking of, like, what do I like, and try to turn that into a cartoon. And I always loved hand puppets. I've had a collection of hand puppets when I was a kid, and yeah, it's like, let me turn that into a cartoon. And I had this fun idea for a gag of this little hand puppet just like bothering this young adult teen character. So I drew this, and I thought, oh, that's a funny gag. So I kind of also like the design, but I did refine it a little bit more. You got another one right here. And here. Now, this on the left, I'm going to talk about this later. Now, the one on the left is also another draft of the early drawings of Hendrick and Mr. Puppety. And this one is also another work in progress drawing of Hendrick and Mr. Puppety. But, I don't know if you noticed, this one actually scanned into Toon Boom. This was one of the earliest drawings of Hendrick specifically that would ultimately be on the show. In this case, they first appeared in episode 6 of the show. I did scan this, I think maybe before these extra lines, I don't remember, but yeah, this was scanned and used for the show, and even for the first short. But yeah, this one's a more special drawing. Probably the third or fourth drawing of the characters I've made, but this one was the one that was like used on screen. Another concept art of the characters, and now this random drawing. Now, apparently I have this out of order, but we'll talk about them. This is for the second Hendrick and Mr. Puppety short. Right here. Yeah, I was drawing characters, and they would later get hand digitally drawn into that cartoon. But I drew them all on loose leaf paper at the time. This was back in early 2014. Let me see. So yeah, you got Hendrick in a body cast, this doctor, side view of this thug character, front view of the thug character, an alleyway, and alleyway side view. Yeah, very sketchy, but I enjoyed it. Alright, this is also drawings from the last two Hendrick and Mr. Puppety shorts at the time. The characters were going to turn 10 years old. So we're going to have a nice look through of this one. This is like the banner and logo of the 10 years of the characters back in 2019. Since they came out. And the show had even their own short in maybe 2009 or so. The character's bed. This is like the handle, the Mr. Puppety stand, blanket and drawer, hat, front view, sheet of paper, glass of water, an MP3 player. This is Hendrick getting hurt because he gets hit by a mallet. Squash and stretch with Hendrick's head after getting hit by the mallet. Body type right here. Impacted by the mallet. Shaking his head off. That was a good one. Yeah, use that technique. Drawing each frame on one paper, scanning it in, and lining them up. A couple more frames of that. A couple more frames. Him shaking around going, ugh. Bed front view. So this is Hendrick and Mr. Puppy, but for the front title card. This is the fourth one, and the fifth one is coming up right up. So yeah, title card Hendrick and Mr. Puppy. This is the other side. So yeah, this is for the fifth one. This one's cute. This one's my favorite because this one's Hendrick is like, Mr. Puppy's like, oh, peekaboo, yeah, I'm a puppet. Very nice. This kitchen area. Salt. Sock'em. Mr. Sock'em. I only drew like one side of him, I realized, by the end of the short, making that cartoon. Where, yeah, I forgot to draw him front view. There it is. Office chair. Toothbrush, toothpaste, bathroom. Oh yeah, the impact would hit and shoot out. Toothpaste. Haha, hammer, gonna hang a picture and stuff. He was also gonna use steak. Oh yeah, blender. A little bit liquid in the blender and yeah, spitting out something. That's what we spit out of something. Rough drawing of the end. The end. Oh, I think I also did concept for like the front titles. First one, second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one. And some concept drawings of the sock puppet. That's good. I don't know why this is out of order, but there we are. In terms of like the shorts I'm showing you, but we'll get to it. Let me just excuse me, folks. But I wanted to create my own dynamic duo characters, and I wanted to deal with puppetry because I love puppets. So that's why these characters existed. Kind of. Alright. Here's some really old Hendrick and Mr. Puppy artwork. This is a book where I storyboarded the very first Hendrick and Mr. Puppy cartoon. Yep, Hendrick and Mr. Puppy on the talent show. Yeah, I was trying to do storyboards with this kind of paper at the time. Thought, maybe I'm comfortable doing storyboards like that, but I realized later on, I'm like, no, I'm not that comfortable, but a couple attempts I made. Look how rough these drawings were. I remember drawing these in nights and mornings, because I had this idea for these characters and what they could do, and I just drew it and didn't stop. Kept drawing and doodling, and just a lot of funny ideas and jokes. It was fun. Oh, and also in this, so that there it is. But look, this is Teen Claws. There's another animated show that I did at the time. This was all 2009. There was another idea for a shirt that I wanted to do that was holiday theme related, because I think there was a contest at the time where you can submit a short that's holiday themed. So I made one called Teen Claws Rides His Sleigh Tonight by me. This teenage grandson of Santa Claus. And that was a fun short. Huh? That was a fun to make short. Yeah. Now, this paper here, while I was setting up the first Hendrick and Mr. Puppety short, I did have to make a list of certain things, like what was going to happen in the cartoon, and also I had to make a list of what kind of things are going to be in the cartoon, like the high school, a crowd, a cup of water, you know, these new props that were drawn and going to be made specifically for the cartoon. But once I drew these, they could be reused for other projects for the show. So this was out of one area in the book, and I want to put it here. Now that's storyboard for the first Hendrick and Mr. Puppety cartoon. Now we have the second one. So I end up storyboarding it more in this kind of paper and this kind of layout, and I was even more comfortable here. And a lot of my work, especially storyboard related, is, as you're going to see later on, is set up like this now more. In this case, yeah, I enjoy drawing and just telling stories with these characters. And yeah, you had moments like this, and I just drew it until I was done. Now, this was very short. Ooh, the third one. Now, I think while I made the third one, I had enough energy and creativity. Well, actually, later on, yeah, what was this? Yeah, 11/20/2016. And these were later on in 2017. But there was a point where I was excited and I thought of two more, but we'll get to that. So the third one, I was like, at some point, yeah, within a couple of years, I was like, I miss these Hendrick and Mr. Puppety characters. I want to do them, make another short with them again. A third one. Third time's a charm. So I storyboard is like, oh, what should they do for the third one? Fishing! I haven't done a fishing-like cartoon in a while. And this is a thick one. I think this is one of the longest ones. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, originally this cartoon was a lot longer, but while in production I was like, let me cut this. I don't want to... Like, there was going to be a big musical number with Mr. Puppety and a bigger monologue interaction with the characters, but I cut it all short. Yeah, this is an extension of this. This is a nice sequence of Storyboard. That was a good one. That was a good one. Then at one point I decided to make 2 more shorts. But this was 2017, and at the time I think I was dealing with the show. Yeah, I was dealing with the show at the time, so I was like, let me just storyboard this, but I'll deal with it later on in life. So I storyboarded these 2 cartoons, these 2 Hendrick and Mr. Puppy cartoons, held them off until early 2019. So they weren't, yeah, look at that, early January. So this was shortly after this. This is another short one, but it was nice. I think I have there's a video out there where I recorded those last 2 shorts. You want to check them out. I have done commentary for all 5 Hendrick and Mr. Puppy cartoons. If you want to check those out too. So I do want to give you more content. I do want to give you more content out of the content that I produce. So that's why these art look-throughs, commentaries, behind-the-scenes content, I'm making them right now. Trying to get more out of these cartoons that take a long time and a lot of work. So I'll share all that with you. Okay, let's take a look at the Hendrick and Mr. Puppety 5 storyboard. There we go. Yeah, I do love these characters. I've taken a break from them when it comes to shorts, but I do love these characters, and they live in the Sergio Studios universe, so they could appear in their own short or maybe an episode of the show, wink wink, so, you know, we'll see. Alrighty, sketch Pad Mayhem! Now, when I was in college, I wanted to create an animated short. Well, it's a video that's half live action, half animated. I wanted to do that. I've been trying to do that for a while at the time, and I finally got to do that back in college. So I did not one but two Sketchpad Mayhem cartoons, and about 5 years later, I did one more for like the 5-year anniversary of the first two shorts, because they were made back to back, the first two. So here's storyboards for Sketchpad Mayhem. Cartoons from the sketchbook come to life, and he's trying to deal with all that. There's that one. The second one. And the second one, I was like, okay, let me go back inside the cartoon, since in my college campus there was a green screen, so I wanted to do that for the follow-up short. I've done audio commentary for all three shorts if you want to check that out. Alright, the third one. There was a point where I missed that method, and at the time I bought a webcam, and I want to try that on something, so I used it to record the live action parts of Pad Mayhem 3. And it was by myself, and like all the other projects, for the most part. Alright, Juan Perez! Now, this all began in 2008 when a certain show announced that a character was getting a spin-off show. So I'm like, I want to do that with Juan! Let him have his own spin-off show. And it was going to be an actual series. So I made the pilot, but it was taking too long. At the time I was struggling with making the show and this cartoon and a couple other cartoons. So at the time I really didn't have the experience with the software and the technology that I had to really do two shows at the same time. So I was like, okay, just one short and I'm going to cancel it. So there you go. The Juan Perez title. Ooh, storyboards. I drew the storyboards in like notebook paper. Take a look. Yeah, this is a script done. When I was writing the script, I got a writer's block and I didn't really know what to do. So I did just a little bit and wait until Juan at the time visited from where he was to where I lived. And when he came by, we just went and just rushed finishing the script and story. Yeah, this was nice and sloppy, but it was still fun. And Juan liked the process of it, than just him being a voiceover artist. One of the characters, as you can see, I had to do a couple of changes. Another model sheet for the Sergio character, head turn here. Hand drawn. Let's see. Yeah, there was a scene where Juan was he was gonna yell. Yeah, in the short he got a pencil in him and he yelled. And originally it was gonna be this, but yeah, at the time it didn't come out well, or maybe the process of it didn't work. So I ended up drawing it in Photoshop and bringing it into Toon Boom digitally. Early drawings of Juan's nephews. And that's Juan Perez. Just one short. Wink. Paltry! So I want to think of another idea for a cartoon back in 2009. And I thought of a cartoon tree. And I like palm trees, so a cartoon palm tree. And I call it Paul Tree. The Paul Tree title card. Yeah, it was 15 seconds long, the first Paul Tree short, because there was a contest back in 2009 where you had to submit a cartoon that was 15 seconds long. So that's what happened at the time. Early drawings of Paul Tree. His character friends. This is for the follow-up short. Because I still have some drawings of the character, but yeah. This is from the early drawings, and this is the current ones, but let me get to that. Now this is drawings for the second one. This big brute character, Paul Tree side character who's a pine tree, since pine trees are like, not only Christmas trees, but very skittish looking trees. I'm like, I'm a palm tree, pine tree, whatever tree. I'm just a skittish little tree. And the other one's like, whoa. Like maybe a redwood oak tree. But that's the second one. I gotta rearrange these. Yeah, this should be after this, because this is the storyboard for the first Paul Tree. Here we go. Here it is, storyboards for the first Paul Tree. It was simple, since it was only like 4 boards for squares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Wakes up, it's like since 15 seconds, let him do something. So I did have to map it out and time each one. Very interesting, but it was fun. Now, since it was 5 years or so after the first Paul Tree, and at the time I finished episode 100 of the show, I wanted to take a break and make other cartoons that isn't the Sergio shows, and one of them was this, and a sequel to Hendrick and Mr. Puppety. So here are the storyboards here. Yeah, I'll show them to you one by one. Yeah, that was fun. I made that real quick. 2. This is Paul Tree's like puppet parts. When I drew the final one, I took tracing paper, put it over it, draw it in pencil, outline it, scan it into Toon Boom, and put the pieces together and rig it in Toon Boom. So this is what it is. It's very thin paper, so I glued it here. Mouth charts, eyes, expressions. Another early designs of Poultry. Oh, this one's nice. Another couple early designs. This is the drawing outline that was scanned into Toon Boom for the set. How he sleeps, where he lives. His house, which is a peninsula house. Oh yeah, this is the pea tree. I know that sounds weird. But yeah, for the title Poultry, I didn't like the first way I drew the pea in the form of a tree, so I redrew it here. Okay, Maxwell Talent Agent. This started when I created this character back in 2009. I wanted to create another cartoon character. And I like the funny word of agent, since agent means, secret agent, but also an agent that helps you get jobs in Hollywood or something like that. So I drew a cartoon agent. October 4th, 2009. Secret Agent Maxwell. Secret talent agency, helping you get your chance of fame and fortune. Give me a better look at that. The storyboard. Yep. Even then, but look, I started storyboarding back in 2010 and I finished it early 2012. This cartoon was in development hell, like I said. Created in 2009, late 2009. The short didn't come out until 2015. Man, I remember seeing the digital document file for this and how it's incomplete for the longest time. And so many things in my way, so I was like, oh, fine, I'll finish it. So this was a cartoon that was in 6 years in development hell. Man, and also had a lot of changes too. Like originally there was more characters, there were more sequences, but I ended up cutting it short and short because it was just too much for me at the time. Added some extra scenes. This was cut, him fighting monsters, and I was like, no. No, let's just show off his gadgets and his attitude. Yeah, this was a cut sequence. Fighting different monsters and stuff. It'd be funny if his eyes are the shape of his glasses, his lens rim of the glasses. So that was a funny gag. Yeah, that was all cut. Yeah, there was going to be scenes and montages. I'm going to show it to you. Yeah, I did this to myself so I didn't know what to not do. He was going to have different costumes. There was going to be a montage of him trying to try different attitudes before he got to actually show his acting chops. So that was the idea. There was even a character that was a robot servant. I really liked the design, well, or maybe the concept of the character, but ended up having to cut it. Yep, here it is. This is like robot friend bruh. It's his robot assistant, but he's also like a friend, like a college bruh friend, you know? Trying to prank him and check his like his skills. If you can see that. Yeah, so that was funny. Yeah, look at him. He's like, oh, this is my robot bra friend. Even though he's attached to the walls, you know, he's like this. Yeah, he's built into like the system of the house that this guy lives in. So I love this character that I never got to use. He tased him by accident. I don't know if you can see this, but it was funny, very funny. But I cut it for time. Yeah, the character was nice, but not really needed. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a cut line, but just flying through the air a little bit more. Yeah, minutes later. Big movie night. Yeah, that was cut. And it's a couple pages blank. Maxwell, talent agent. Yeah, I like this character, but the short was in and out of development hell for so long. Oh my god, 6 years. 5-6 years, so. Yeah, but he was a fun character to draw, animate, and to develop too, because he's inspired by a couple of cartoons in the 90s that I really like, and that I just want my own version of, so. If you can tell by the angles and the way he looks, you know what I'm talking about. Secret agent to talent agency. Even while developing the cartoon, I made a walk cycle that never appeared in the final cut, just to test the character's personality through walk. The way his head would be shaped, his attitude, that smile. I wanted to be sure that he always smiles, like he does not frown. He has that really sharp $1 million smile. Maybe billions and trillions dollar smile, we don't know. He's also based on one actor from the 90s. Well, he's still a beloved actor now, but, you know, he was very big in the 90s. So, that was also the idea. That was this certain character. But you know what I'm talking about when it comes to stuff, edgier, cartoony, pose-driven things back in the 90s. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you know. Yeah, I do a lot of drawings. Because this character was fun to draw. The limo. Let's see. These should be the drawings from the short. Is it 1 or 2? Yeah, it's just 2. The limousine. And the inside of the limousine. I guess they were digitally, digitally drawn. This nerd character, I think his name is Derek. But he has a beautiful gift of acting. Oh, there was a lot of sound effects I had to make for the short. I did make a list while I was going through it. You can see right here, if you can see it. Oh, a lot more. Wow. Oh, I even had to make a list of like what kind of music I needed for the thing. Because there was like intense music that I at the time had to make. Excuse me. Yeah, the credits were also specifically made, even though I did all of it, but still I needed to make something specific. Notes. Ooh, his office right here. Maxwell Agency! Maxwell Talent Agency! How can I make you famous today? More props. His nice looking bed. I want it to be, you know, something you see in a spy movie, yet also futuristic. Because that was the design I was going through. You know, he was sleek and stylish and sharp, so that was what I was going for, you know, how he lived. The desk at that angle, and also Maxwell Studios. Yeah, a nice parody of, you know, those blockbuster, big budget Hollywood movies. And this kind of studio would come back later on in a different kind of cartoon. Trying to build that universe. Trying to build that universe. Oh, another drawing of that. I was trying to think of different names for it because yeah, it was Maxwell Studios, but I had other ideas, and when I was drawing them out, I'm like, no. Maxwell Talent Agent, and this nerdy character. I remember when I animated the sequence, it took a whole day just for 10 seconds of animation. It was like weirdly technical and difficult. It was a frustration. Oh my god. A nice like grappling gun kind of thing. There we go. And I had to do some animation fire cycles, so I drew them in paper. His breakfast, because his breakfast was like laser beamed into him. Like scanned into him. Harmroyd, the villain, because there's some agencies that help you, some of them rip you off, and he's the one that rips you off. I wanted to have him holding a pet, but I didn't know what pet, so I combined animals. It made it look weird. Another one, Harmroyd. his torso, his mouth. Yeah, I gave this character specific hands and faces, even though he has a small appearance in the cartoon. And he hasn't appeared on the show since. Nice, like, rough drawings of it. Alright, Mr. Toonytune. Let me just check something. Alright, last part of the video. This last cartoon. It's not the last cartoon that I've made. And there's a couple cartoons that I've done that I can't show because of copyright reasons. And there's, I think, one or two that I want to show in a separate video all on its own. So it's just, this video is already running long. So I'm just going to show you this part and call it a video. So, Mr. Toonytune. Now, with Mr. Toonytune over here, yes. This is one of the cartoons I made back in early 2014. Yes, where after episode 100, I needed a break from the show, and I made other cartoons, a sequel to Hendrick Mr. Puppety, 5 original-ish cartoons. Hendrick and Mr. Puppety, The Adventures of My Uncle, Mr. Toonytune, Poultry, and Sergio Short. And yeah, this is one of them, Mr. Toonytune. In this, ironically, when I did this, I wanted to make my own. One of the ideas I want was, for a cartoon, was to make my own version of the classic 1920s, 30s cartoons because I love the design and it's funny to make it in today's technology. So that was an attempt, and that kind of spirit went on to the Sergio show later on. So, ironically, there's no drawings for this. There were no drawings. Instead, this was just a storyboard, and any drawings or characters that you see in that cartoon were drawn digitally directly. So, yeah, the only thing that was on paper was the storyboard. So, ironically, the one that is classic cartoons that would have a lot of paper only has storyboard, and everything was done digitally. Yeah, this cartoon was fairly short, but I had fun making this, like I did with all of my other work, and the experience of going through each of them, even though it's kind of a similar step-by-step process, I do streamline a lot of things, I even cut parts of the process, but each one is obviously very different, even with the same process, and it's still fun every time doing it. Doing new things that I haven't done before, and just having a good time ultimately, which I have with most, if not all, the show. All of the work I've done. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video and all my other cartoons. And my other cartoons. And that's it for this video of looking through some of my Sergio Studios cartoons. It's not all of them. There's 1 or 2 cartoons that I'm holding on because one of them specifically is a video all on its own, honestly. Because of not only the artwork, but the way I had to approach it, and I had some extra things to show you. So So that's going to be its own video, and I've shown a lot within this video of a lot of the cartoons. So not only that short in a separate video, but maybe some extra artwork that I'm even looking at right now and some extra material. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Questions, comments down below. Follow me on social media, and that's it. And if you like the process of those cartoons, if you haven't already, check out the original cartoons for it and even the bonus features, commentaries that are in this channel. So again, thank you very much for watching. I am Sergio Dominguez saying, have an animated day.